Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, Mrs. Margaret Wanjiku Saitoti, the Prime Minister, the Vice President, retired President Jerry Rawlings, ladies and gentlemen, it is with deep sorrow and grief that I join the rest of the country on behalf of members and staff of Parliament and on my own behalf to express our fathomless sense of loss over the demise of Honorable Professor George Saitoti, Minister of State in the Office of the President in charge of Provincial Administration and Internal Security and Member of Parliament for Kajiado North constituency. The early morning of 10th June 2012 will remain etched in our memories and in the history of Kenya eternally as satanic, vile, and putrid moment following the helicopter crash that suddenly and most tragically cut short the life of our son, brother, dear colleague, father, and husband, George. Even as we await the outcome of the ongoing and proposed investigations into the cause of the accident, we must at all levels as a people forthwith take steps to embrace a culture of ethical behavior and responsibility that incorporates professional contact and adherence to quality benchmarks, including industrial standards. This has to be in a bid to contain the horrendous level of accidents in our nation. I knew George as an accomplished academician and yet seasoned politician that has had a checkered and illustrious career in both respects. The impact of his service to Mother Kenya in the public and private sector will live long after him. Some of his outstanding contributions are immortalized in published works and from the parliamentary perspective will remain forever cherished as part of our jealously guarded repository for reference during and beyond our time. In Parliament, where he was serving his sixth term at year number 29, Professor Saitoti stood out as a voice of reason. He applied himself to his duties in all the portfolios he served in with exceptional enthusiasm and diligence, ever so always determined to succeed. He kept his eyes on the prize, the Kenyan nation. I had ultimate opportunity to interact with him during the peaceful elections forum, at which he displayed solid candor on his expectations and aspirations as to transformation in the security arena that will in the short run ensure peaceful elections and in the long run an enduring, secure country. It behoves us, the leadership of this country, to make this happen. Away from his policy legacy as Minister for Internal Security and his contribution in the education sector, among others, Professor Saitoti will be remembered in Parliament as an incisive, persuasive, and influential legislator, able party leader, and a sharp debater. He was the longest-serving leader of government business in the House and has left an indelible mark in this regard as a most beautiful team leader with exemplary political skills, so knowledgeable and yet checked. In a sense, to me, the good professor was simply an amazing, practical, and pragmatic politician. Allow me, Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, to reiterate an assertion that I made at the home of George not very long ago, that many a time the job of the Speaker is very lonely, more so in the face of the high-stakes business that is transacted in Parliament, that in fact can be said to be the norm in Kenya. So much so that right-thinking company becomes rare. But Professor Saitoti In Professor Saitoti, I found a true friend that stood by and with me during fairly tumultuous and trying moments. He took me into his confidence and was able to share with me his thoughts and information that came in handy as I steered through all around some of these moments. He was a selfless counselor to me, a true patriot that had over the years gained invaluable experience and acumen that put the interest of Kenya first. The last such occasion remains firmly imprinted in my mind in the discussion that I had with him at the Serena Hotel after the formal opening of the Peace Forum in Mombasa, at which the only other witness apart from me and the late George is God. And we spoke about reforms in the police force vis-a-vis the next general elections. In the interest of all of us, Your Excellency, sir, I refrain further disclosures and just plead, George was an astute statesman. Can we, the leadership of this country, give him the best tribute, complete police reform timelessly. On behalf of all members of Parliament, its staff, and indeed on my own behalf, I send our heartfelt condolences to the family, relatives, friends, the people of Kajiado North and Kenya for the sudden demise of Honorable Professor George Saitoti. To Margaret and family, I urge you to find solace in the teachings of the Bible that have a relevant lesson for every situation, and among them the book of Psalms at chapter 46, verses 1 to 2. And it says this, quote, God is our refuge and strength, an ever-present help in trouble. Therefore we will not fear, though the earth gives way and the mountains fall into the heart of the sea, unquote. May the Almighty God grant you comfort and give you the strength to bear the pain, and may God rest his soul in eternal peace. Fare thee well, George.
I thank you, Mr. Speaker. And so that you may see, he was truly speaking on behalf of all the legislators. Would you, wherever you are, please be upstanding. All the members of Parliament, I know they've been meeting until late to also see how they will be able to join with us tomorrow. All the legislators except the President, I think, because you can see all his colleagues are here. I saw Peter Madi, being a staunch Catholic, really singing his heart out. Thank you so much. And now I ask the Prime Minister to come and give his condolences.